Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm back again with that mini folio that we have been making from the card blanks. Now I have to say it does not look like much at the moment. You know, in fact, sorry, I'm just going to move this out of the way. I came back to my desk this morning and I picked it up and thought, what? That's rubbish. Just looks rubbish. But we're hopefully going to transform it and make it not look rubbish. So I talked in the last video about potentially using, you know, some books to fill the pages with. So I've got this book. Now you can see I've already torn the cover off. It was called The Great Paintings of England. It's the Shell Guide to the Great Paintings of England. So I've used this book before, I think, with you guys. So I've already kind of like selected one or two pictures from here that I thought might be nice to use. And what I thought we could do, this book has got slightly sheeny type pages. Not heavily so, but you can probably see, you know, they've got a slight sheen. They're not glossy, but they're not matte. Well, yeah, I mean, they're probably considered matte, but, you know, they've got a slight sheen to them. But I particularly like the black and white pictures. So I've just kind of earmarked a few. Oops. So I'm just going to tear those pages out where the pictures are that I thought that we could use. Okay. And then what I thought we could do to make them sort of look a bit more, I mean, they are, you know, obviously these are vintage pictures, but the fact that they have been put in this more modern type book and they are now, you know, black and white on a sort of slightly sheeny surface, they're not so much looking vintage, if you see what I mean. So what I'm thinking we're going to do is we're going to coffee dye some of these so that they're going to then, you know, blend in really nicely with our, well, folio, I suppose. So I'm just kind of selecting a few, and like I say, I mean, I might not even use them all, but we'll just take out all the ones that we potentially think we might use. I mean, that one obviously is, you know, circular shape, so I'd probably struggle to use that, but I'm going to just take it out because we might be able to cut it down to, you know, like a rectangular shape or something like that. I keep coming back to this one because I'm not sure whether we might use a portion of that. It's quite big on its own, but, you know, we'll see. I mean, I love this, but it's very dark. It's a Gainsborough picture. I mean, he's about the only artist who I really, you know, could recognise some of his work, to be honest. But, yeah, it's pretty dark in that picture, so I'm not sure that, you know, it's worthy of being, or worthy of using, because you might not really see it that much. It might not show up brilliantly. So that probably, I think, was the extent of it, because when I went through, I'm not sure how they formatted this book, whether it's kind of gone in, you know, periods and things like that, but I particularly liked, you know, a few of them at that front section. I do really like this picture also, but if I'm sticking with the kind of, you know, black and white, and effectively they're going to be coffee dyed, then probably, oh, that's quite nice. Oh, and I like that one as well. Well, that's Charles I, which, yeah, I feel like that's a bit weird to actually put someone like that into a journal. But hey, I probably put people like that into a journal, unbeknown to me, all the time. Just because, you know, my knowledge is not so good when it comes to who famous people are. You know, famous figures from history. So what I'm going to do, I've got my coffee dye here that, you know, I just keep in a cup behind my desk. Now, I just got some fresh coffee this morning in here. It's just a mixture of black coffee. And you can just see there, just painted it over to see kind of how dark it's looking, so that I know whether I need to kind of water it down. What you could also do is kind of put it on like that and just mop some up. So I'm just going to paint it onto this picture here. Okay, like that. Now, obviously, this picture here is quite dark, so, you know, you might well be thinking, well, it's hardly even showing, but it's showing enough to just change the colour of it slightly. So, you know, hopefully it's going to just have a bit more of a vintage kind of feel to it than it was doing. So I'll just do that with a few of these, and then I'll probably dry them off with my heat tool, a bit. So again, just And I'll just, you know, just mop it up a little bit. Like that. Okay, and this one. So this one is another one where, you know, I probably wouldn't use this in its entirety, but maybe I would be able to cut these into two. So I'd, you know, use this lady and then use the other one. So just put that on. Again, just dab that off in a few places. So let's just quickly dry them off and see how they're looking. Now, obviously these may curl up a little bit, you know, with the coffee dyeing process and, you know, just the mere, you know, process of actually getting the paper saturated. If they curl up too much, I can always iron them so they flatten out a bit more. But I hope that you can kind of see what's happened, because not only have we, you know, vintaged this up colour-wise, it's also dulled the sheen down completely on the paper. So what was quite a sheeny picture is now a bit more dull and matte looking. So I will show you in a second. I'll just dry these three off. And then I will show you a bit more. Okay. There we go. I'm just going to mop those couple of bits from the edges off. So can you see, I mean, it is still slightly sheeny, but this one's got quite a glare. This one is less so. So, you know, I don't know whether that's my imagination or whether it really is what's happened, but definitely I feel like the coffee dyeing has taken some of the glare off of the picture, which therefore, you know, again, just makes it look slightly more vintage anyway, because it's not, you know, not so shiny. Particularly on this lighter one, it's much less sheeny. It's, you know, it's much less dark. So this one may not be so successful because this is a very dark picture. It's got a lot of black in it, but we'll give it a try and see. So just go over there. Okay, and yeah, just mop some of that off. I mean, really, you know, the mopping, I don't know really whether that's necessary, but this one, like I say, I'd cut it down into a sort of more, you know, regular shape, so either a square or a rectangle. But I may or may not use it, so I'll just put that to the side. Okay, right. This one I do actually like both of these pictures. They are very dark, which is a bit of a shame, but it might be that, you know, I would think these are better as pull-out pieces rather than stuck in. If pieces are quite dark like this, and again, you know, it's just the nature of the pictures, sometimes I would include them more as a pull-out piece rather than something glued in, because, you know, if it's glued in, I feel like it would look very drab on the page being so dark. But if it's a pull-out piece, you know, you could kind of then study the piece more closely to your, you know, your face and things and be able to see it more clearly rather than it being actually flat to the page and maybe not, you know, not showing up to its best. So this one, again, unfortunately, it's quite dark, but I do really like the picture. So we'll just go over it and we'll just, you know, we'll just see how it turns out. So there we go. Again, just mop this up a little bit. Like that. Okay, in fact, I'll just leave this on the desk for the minute. And we'll do the final one. And then what I'll do, I'll just dry these off with my heat tool, you know, off camera so as not to bore the life out of you all while I'm just drying them. So exactly as we did just now, nothing different. And then I'll be back. Hold on. Okay, so I'm back. It's later that same day. Right. So what I've done, I've obviously dried all of the pictures, and then what we need to do, if we're going to be using these as, you know, any kind of pockets or anything like that, we need to obviously thicken them up, because at the moment they're, you know, they're pretty thin and they would be obviously way too fragile. So I'm just moving my coffee out of the way. So just going to bring this back. So let's just have another look and see what kind of space we've got on here. So obviously this is quite a mini folio. I mean, I'm normally kind of one for making pretty big things. So, you know, I'm going to have to adjust my my usual style accordingly. So I'm going to take this one first, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to squish it in, you know, or not squish it in, but fold it in to make something much smaller that's going to fit on here. So I'm just going to fold this over here like this. Okay. And then I think, yeah, probably cut it down on the sides. So I'm just going to cut it down here, because this is that irregular shaped image. So like that. So just as a starting point, and then we can kind of gauge from here where we'd need, you know, it to come down. So yeah, I mean, I was thinking put it onto there, but to be honest, we might prefer to have it on here, or maybe even we could have it as a big pocket on this page. Or do we want it over here? I'm now not sure. And now I'm thinking, oh, maybe I would prefer this actually just glued onto a piece of paper or card. So I've got this card. This is again from my pale lace kit. And actually, do you know, I'm thinking maybe this would be better. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take it here. Again, just, you know, fold this in like that. Okay, so we just... Now, I quite like to just tear these down. I know I say this all the time, but, you know, I quite like the fuzzy edges. So, you know, I think that's quite a nice way to get that sort of look. And then this, maybe instead of having this as a rectangular pocket, then maybe I will actually tear this out and have it onto here. So let's just tear this down. And then let's just tear it like that. Okay. Like that. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I just had to go and help my daughter with something. So I'm all puffed out now. Right. Okay. So I'm going to take this down here like this. So just again, fold that down, squish it, and then like this. So, and yes, you know, well, sorry, losing the ability to speak. As you can see, we're keeping with the theme. We're keeping with these colours. So although this is from the pale lace, it's blending really nicely in with this blue from the butterflies. So, you know, it's all going to really look, you know, quite nice and well blended, I think. So just going to tear down this straight edge. Okay, but I might leave this straight edge, I think, and have this glued over onto the edge of this pocket. So like that. And then I might just take it down slightly. We'll see. So let's just glue this on. Okay. So, yep. Oops. Oh, sorry. I have to put my glasses on because I couldn't actually see if the glue's even coming out. So, yep. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to have to unclog my glue. I'm filming this during the school holidays, so I do apologise for, you know, my chaotic kind of style, but I've obviously been doing this in amongst other things, so it just affects your ability to concentrate after a while. Right, so use my glue spreader and spread that like that. Just mop up any glue. Okay, looking good. Right, now what I'm going to do is just cut this down on this edge. Just because otherwise I thought maybe it was a bit wide for the piece. And then I'm going to rough this up so as we've just got a bit of extra texture going on when we glue this down. So, okay. Oh, might go along that edge as well. So like that. Okay. I think we've done all the edges now. Right. So if I bring this back in, Okay, so looking good. So we can have this stuck down here, and then we can have it as an opening pocket here. So just need to take that little bit of that off. It's not quite glued up to that edge. So yeah, I'm losing obviously now that lovely torn edge, but that's fine because what I'll do is rough it up again, I think. So okay, right. I'm not making a good job of this. I do apologise. I'm very rusty, I think, with my, well, everything. My cutting, my folio making, oh, my crafting generally. not very good. Right. So, yeah, that can go there. I might even have it down here at the bottom, to be honest. I wouldn't normally do that, but I think it looks quite nice there. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. It's going to be one of those days, I'm afraid. So, that was my mum and dad's bed. Just popped around to pick something up. So, right, okay. We are going to just ink this up now. Now, I still haven't inked this folio at all. And I have to say, I think the inking is going to make quite a dramatic difference to the overall look. Because at the moment, of course, we've got a lot of white showing. You know, so it's not got that cohesive kind of appearance. And I think, you know, it's going to be quite dramatic, the difference that takes place once the inking, yeah, the difference that occurs once the inking's taken place. So let's just ink this side for a moment. So just go in to all the creases, and I'm just doing this really because it might be tricky to get to everywhere once the pocket's glued on, you know, because I haven't decided yet. I might be adding lace at this stage or not, you know. But yeah, it might just prove difficult. So I'm just going to ink around this whole portion at this stage. So like that. Okie dokie. Like this. And then again, take this flap up, ink around here. Okay, and then all around this bit. Now, I will probably leave the inking at this point and do the rest as we move across, but for now, we'll just kind of ink just to here. And I just need to get into this flap here, so I'll just turn it around so as I'm in frame. So we'll just ink like that. Now, I'm not the best inker in the world. You know, I'm pretty scruffy when I ink. I'm not very neat or anything. But that's fine. We don't need to be, you know, we don't need to be being neat here. So it's all good. Right. Okay. So I think personally that's made quite a big difference already, just that bit of inking. It straight away has made it look much more vintage and, you know, much more yeah, just, you know, old and worn looking, you know, which is the look we're going for. Now, I do want to have some lace, so I'm just going to have a look and see what lace I'd like. Now, I've got this gorgeous kind of minty green. This is just a scrap that was laying around on my desk, so I'm just going to cut this down just in case I want to have this on here, only because, you know, what a good colour match it is to this pocket, to be honest. And again, I may mix up the lace and have a few different coloured laces because we've got a very eclectic look going on generally. So I think, you know, mixing the lace up would be quite a nice thing to do. So like that. Now I'm going to just pop this down, just using some wet glue. Oops. Like that. Okay, now my glue's oozed out. First of all, it wasn't coming out at all. Now it's really poured out, so I'm just going to run my finger down just so I haven't got quite such a glut of glue that's going to be, you know, all over everywhere. Okay, so we just pop that one down close to the edge. It doesn't have to be right over, but just close-ish. Okay. So, oh, do you know, I totally forgot. I said that I was going to have it down the bottom, didn't I? And I just totally forgot then. So, anyway, it's fine. It's now, It's at the top as per a more regular go-to way, but yeah, that's fine, I don't mind. So then I'm going to, yeah, I think have this bit of lace running down here. Now I'm just going to glue that on, just again run my glue across there like that. Okay, loving how this looks. So I mean, I won't probably decorate this as we go, but actually maybe I should. Just kind of looking around. I mean, just because I've got that label there, so possibly use that label. Now I've got this lovely pearly trim, so I might just have a bit of that somewhere. Maybe there. Okay. Oops. So I'm just going to use my hot glue just to put the pearly trim down. Okay. Whoops. Obviously that lace, it's not glued down properly yet. The glue's still very wet, so just glue that in like that. Okay, so loving how that's looking. It looks very, very pretty, doesn't it? So should we just pop this label on? Do I like it up there, or do we prefer the label here? I mean, I quite like it either way. I think I prefer it over the picture, actually. I know that sounds a bit strange, but yeah. Let's have that there. Okay. Oops. Like that. Okay. So, yep, I like how that looks. So then this whole flap opens, obviously. So we've got a pocket here. We've got the opening flap. And we can obviously put something on this reverse side as well. So, again, I'm going to be using my pictures that we've coffee dyed. So I'm having a look now again for another sort of biggish picture. Now I've got this one, which, you know, was also quite a large picture. Now I'm not going to be able to fit this anywhere because even on the widest parts, you know, this picture is too wide. So I'm going to be better off cutting this into half and using it in half, I think. So I'm going to cut it straight down here, where they're holding hands, those children. So like that. Okay. Now, do we want to use this as a pocket? I was obviously intending on using the first one, you know, as a pocket, and then that kind of went out the window. But yeah, let's just see if we would like to use this one as a pocket, you know, rather than a decorative piece on something else. So I'll just go in like that. I mean, I think that's quite nice as the pocket itself, to be honest. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to glue it down on the side. Now, this side, I'm not sure yet what to do. So I'm going to just leave that for a minute while I'm giving it a bit of thought. So let's glue this down. Okay. So again, plenty of glue. Okay. So squish this down. Squish this one down. Right. Okay. Going to do a bit of mopping up now with the glue. So out this way. Out this way. And then I will go around the whole thing and trim it up. Like I said, I haven't decided yet whether to keep that edge where it's got the white edge or whether to get rid of that. I mean, yeah, we could kind of cover it up with like some lace or some ribbon or something. Or of course I could just, you know, chop it off altogether. I'm not sure. Because if I get rid of it altogether, I think this might be quite insignificant, you know, quite a small pocket. However, if I try and cover it up, I'm not sure I'm going to be very successful, and then it might look rubbish. So let's go down this edge now. Pop my glasses on. Go down here like that. Okay. So yeah, this looks quite nice already, doesn't it? So what I'm thinking is I've got some ribbons here. Now, these ribbons I've already, weirdly enough, they were some that I was playing with the other day with these gorgeous Diamante buckles, and I'd already threaded some buckles on. And I'm thinking something like this is going to look absolutely gorgeous on here. So if I just open this up, I'm thinking something like that is going to look lovely. And that way I can keep the edge on, you know, this, you know, white edge. So the pocket then becomes bigger rather than trimming it down. I've covered it up completely with the width of the ribbon. And of course it looks gorgeous. So it's, you know, it's a win-win. Well, it's a win-win-win really, not even just a win-win. So yeah, I'm quite liking that. Now, here, as you can see, I've just got a little gap where that did not obviously be, you know, reaching. So I'm wondering whether I should actually line this a third time with some paper, only because I'm very, you know, I'm very paranoid about my paper not being really thick enough. Now, I think probably I'm a bit too ridiculous about that, and I, you know, I don't necessarily think I need to be as worried as I am about thickening it up, but let's just grab. So I'm just going to use a bit of like the book, so just the texty pages from the book, and I'm just going to layer it on here so that I'm thickening it up again, so it's really then durable, you know, and not going to be getting torn, because that definitely, you know, just there is a vulnerable point. Okay. Now, obviously this is pretty soggy now, so it's, you know, it's a little bit tricky to work with. So just going to go in there like that. Okay. Grab my glue spreader and spread my glue like that. Okay. Like that. Okay, right, looking good. So again, just mop out the glue that's come out onto the desk. Right, we just cut this down. Okay. So I hope everybody's having a good day. I can just trim that edge off slightly here. I hope you're managing to do some crafting, having a nice time. Do share below the projects that you're working on. It's lovely to hear what everybody's actually up to. Right, so that's my lovely pocket now. And it's, you know, it's all just made from those lovely book pages. Now, I've got this little bit of lace. So again, I mean, I'm just picking up scraps and things that are laying about. I'm really not, you know, paying any mind to, you know, to what it is I'm picking up or anything. But I'm thinking maybe something like that might be quite nice. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue this down. So I'm going to cut my ribbon. So this velvet ribbon, it's very prone to fraying, as you can see. So what helps is if you just go across the edge with a lighter, or, you know, a flame of some sort, because it just seals that edge then. I mean, it's not really a problem because once it's glued down, you know, it's not going to be fraying anyway, because obviously it's not going to be being touched. But, you know, I just think it is a vulnerable point. So to just, you know, eliminate that being a danger, it is worth doing that. Okay. And then just snip that out at this point. Now, this one obviously, you know, again would be vulnerable to fraying. I'm just going to go along very carefully. Now, obviously be careful because you've got paper here. You know, if you're doing it once it's glued onto the paper. I mean, for a start, you've got the paper, and secondly, you've got the glue, which presumably would be flammable. So you just need to take extra care if you're kind of doing it once it's glued down. But how gorgeous does that look? I just love it. Absolutely love it. So yeah, I'm going to have, I think, the lace there and then this here. Now I might put something on here, I'm not sure. Just going to check that I might not have this further down, you know, like we talked about on the other side, saying, oh, should we have it in the corner? Thinking, should we have this one in the corner now? No, I think I do like this one, you know, at the top. For some reason, that other one, there was just something about it that I thought, oh, that would look really good actually in the corner. And then obviously when I came to glue it in, I totally forgot to actually do that. But oops, just going to move this. It's an old piece of ephemera that I'd made, and it's just getting glue dripping on it. So it's in danger of getting ruined. So I just must move it out of the way so it's not getting damaged anymore. Okay, right. Okie dokie. So yeah, we're going to have this like this, I think. So this one, I'm just going to glue down like this. Now this one is gluing over this lace. So where it's gluing over the lace, what I might do is just give it a helping hand with my hot glue, just so that it glues down nice and quickly over the lace portion. Okay, so my pocket edge is this side, and then just mop out any, you know, any seeping glue like that. Oh my goodness, doesn't this look yummy? So I mean, it's really coming together. I think it's, you know, it's looking really pretty already. So then we've got the next section, which obviously we've got this pocket here and this pocket here. And then we've got this, you know, this drop down flap. So again, we just need to decide, do we want to have like a sort of torn type image, or do we want to have a pocket? So I'm going to start by cutting him down, I think, and then we can just decide. So let's just cut him down. Not made a very good job of folding this now. It's not very straight. Okay. Right, let's just take this down here at the side. Okay. So we could have it like that. Now, I think that looks quite nice. I think, yeah, I think I'm going to go for that, to be honest. So yeah, what I want to do is just fold this down slightly more so it's not quite such a tall pocket. So let's just, you know, get it exactly how we want it. And then slightly more maybe at the bottom as well. Like that, okay. Okie dokie, right. Let's just get rid of this. Okay, oops. So I'll just cut that. It doesn't seem to want to be tearing very neatly. So yeah, I'm just kind of making a mess now. Right, okay. So I'm going to glue all this down. So it's kind of tripled over again, which, you know, that's good because we're making things really sturdy, which is always a good thing. So yeah, let's glue the first one down. So I'm just going to glue this one down here, and then we'll go in and glue the other layer down. So like that. Okay. Right, let's pick this up. Okay. And then here, so, yep. Just pop the other layer down. Okay. Like that. Right. Okay. So, yep, I'll pull the glue up. My glue's coming out very thick and fast, I'm afraid, because my nozzle on my glue had, yeah, got damaged with my hot glue gun. So, you know, I'm a bit extravagant with the glue, if I'm truthful, and it would be better if I wasn't having quite so much glue oozing out, but it is what it is. And, you know, hey, it's fine. It's not the end of the world or anything. Right, let's pick this up. So just trim down now on my edges where I've got the white showing. So just go in on that edge and then on this edge as well. Okay. Right. Hopefully that's going to be okay, because we can always cover anything up with some lace and things anyway. So we're going to have that pocket on here like that. Yeah, quite like that. Now, do we want some lace? Now I'm thinking, yeah, maybe kind of some more of the green. Now, let me just check that I've got more of this green, because I don't want to have used it all and then have no more, because I always think that's a bit of a strange thing, you know, because it looks like you've just run out, which, you know, may very well be the case, but you don't want it to look like that, do you? So just going to perhaps try this one instead. Okay. Yeah, that's better, isn't it? Yep, we're going to have that one. So again, just going to glue this down with the wet glue on the three sides. Okay, so like that. Okay. I'm really loving all these colours together. It looks very, very vintage, doesn't it? It's just, yeah, kind of all of the colours are really complementing each other really, really well, aren't they? Now, do I want it on that side or that side? We could even have it down the side. Oh, I don't know now. Quite like it down the side, funnily enough. I was intending on having it here, but oh, I don't know now. Also got like a little bow. Again, just grabbing things, you know, that just happen to be laying around on the desk. So, you know, really not kind of thinking about this at all or anything. Just grabbing anything that's laying in my path. Oh, I can't decide. I mean, I probably prefer it here, and we could always find something else perhaps to put down there in a minute. So, well, not in a minute, but, you know, later. When we do the sort of finishing touches for this. So at the moment, we're just getting the sort of basic foundation pieces down, like the pockets and, you know, yes, we might have a bit of lace down, but, you know, probably not everything that we're going to be using. And then obviously we'll be doing some finishing touches where we'll add, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe some flowers and things like that. And, you know, just some different things. So at the moment, we're very much just doing, you know, basic kind of things. So, yeah, I'm loving how that looks. Right, okay, so we open this up. So here, I'm thinking again, let's have something here. Now, I got here some of my French collection papers, and I'm thinking we could use some of this. Oh, actually, do you know, I'm thinking perhaps we should use some of this as a little foldy flap. Right, let's take this down. I love things on this craft coloured card. It's, you know, just really kind of nice and really different, I think. So I'm thinking perhaps we should incorporate this. No, not there. Maybe here. Maybe as a little foldy flap. What do we think that? Right, let's just put this down here. So, right, let's trim this down. I don't know whether this is going to fit. And do you know what? I should have really done this first. But I'm thinking if we fold this over, like that, oops, like that, like that, okay. Have that as a little foldy flap. So, yeah, had I thought of this, I would have done this first. But obviously I didn't, so we're now having to do this sort of retrospectively. If I'd thought of it first, we could have glued it straight onto this pocket before gluing the pocket down. Doing it after, we need to obviously ensure that it's way smaller than the pocket so that I can glue it here between the two edges that are glued down. But I think that's quite nice, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm going to glue that on there, and that's just then a little, you know, just a little fold out flip kind of piece. So it's just adding some extra detail. Now you probably notice, you know, I haven't done anything at all with the outside of this at all yet. So I haven't decided whether I'm going to do that with paper or whether we're going to do it with fabric. I haven't, you know, I haven't really thought about it, to be honest, but we're just doing the inside first. Okay. So, yeah, we've got that little flap there. And, you know, you could always put like a little paper clip or something to hold that closed, you know, or a string closure or, you know, however you like. But I think that's just quite a nice little detail. Now, I was thinking putting this craft carder here, but as it happens, I don't know whether I think that that looks a little bit kind of plain. I quite like it on here. Or we could have another foldy flap here. Maybe we'll try that. So let's just cut that down. Right, this is going to have to be really tiny to fit in amongst where this is glued down, obviously. So, yeah, right, let's take this down here. Okay. And then this piece. Like that, okay. Right, let's get rid of those bits into the bin. Right, now I don't know whether this is going to fit in here, so let's see. Oh, it's quite a tight squeeze. Yeah, it's quite tight, but just about. But if I just take it down another millimetre or so, it will fit. So, like that. Okay, so that's looking good. And then what we can do is obviously, so if I just fold that over just enough that that's going to tuck into that pocket that we can glue that on. Like that. Oops, like that. And then this can then fold in here. Like that. Okay. So like this. So when that's glued in, it folds in like this. So we're adding interest, we're adding more flaps, we're adding more, you know, more journaling space, more kind of space that you could, I don't know, stick photos and things like that. Or, you know, journal on, paint on, you know, however you would use your folio. We're just adding more surfaces, basically. So we're building it up and obviously making it much more interactive. So what started out as, you know, quite sort of basic, I guess, is now becoming way more interesting and way more interactive. So like that, we've got those two flaps. We've got this now as the fold down flap here, and we're going to put something here. So let's now have a look and see what we're going to put on there. So I've got another couple of bits. Now I've got these tickets, which now I've got these tickets for sale on my website. I mean, I think they're quite nice. I think that would go quite nicely with the, you know, with the pictures. Now, do I want to thicken this up? Because this is only paper. So we could either thicken this up and have this as a pocket, or I could kind of just tear around it or something and we could just have it glued onto the page. I've also got this. Again, this is from my French collection papers. So it's very similar to this, but this is now in, you know, a coloured version, not on the craft card. So it might just kind of look better on that background. So let's just cut this down. Okay. Like that. Oh my goodness, how lovely is this looking? I love that. Absolutely love that. Right. I've got this horrible feeling I've not cut that straight either. I don't know what's going on, honestly, with my cutting today. It's like appalling. Okay, right. So I'm going to glue that on to here. So it's another pocket now on top of that pocket. Okay. Like that. Okay. Like that. So, you know, and all of these bits, they are all things that I am just grabbing in from around on my desk. I mean, obviously my desk's a tip. It helps because I've got a lot of things all over the desk. But, you know, I'm really not kind of thinking about this at all. I'm just grabbing any old thing and just, you know, popping it on here. So, you know, I think it's quite refreshing that you don't have to be thinking about things at all. You can just literally go for anything that you've got. Now I've got this here. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Oh, that is quite nice. So this obviously must be from something else I've been doing. Couldn't even tell you what. I don't even recall what, but oh, maybe we could just pop that into there. It's a bit wide, so I'd have to trim it down, but yeah, maybe we'll pop that in. Right, okay, so let's keep that there to one side. I had actually pulled it in wondering whether I wanted it across the top, but because I'm quite liking this train here. So let's just have a look and see again the paintings, you know, the pictures that I've kind of coffee dyed, and just see whether we want to have one of these up here at all. It's a case of finding like the right thing, isn't it? So I have got this one, which this was one of those ones that we said was very dark. So I'm going to start again by cutting this down. What I'll do, I'll just cut that, you know, widthways like that. Okay, and this one. Okay. Now I'm just going to fold this in. Just see how that would be as a pocket. Oops. Now, do we like that like that? Obviously, yeah, probably not with this white end. So let me get rid of the white end. So, do we like that? Like that? Or would we prefer the train here and that on here? Let me just trim this down a minute, because it's probably a little bit too big at the moment. Okay. Right. Oh, quite liking that. Over there. Yeah, I think I like it best like this. So I might just have to tear this down because, you know, I say this all the time, I just don't really like the straight edges, and I don't know why, because I don't mind when anyone else does straight edges. I like them, you know, I just can't seem to carry them off myself. You know, I don't know, don't know why, but yeah, I think we just get used to what we get used to, don't we? And then when we try and do something, you know, that we don't normally do, I think it just takes a while to get used to it. So yeah, that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Right, so let's have that. So I've put it over slightly so it's not smack bang in the middle, but it's not like directly off center or anything like that. Okay, now this I love down here, so I'm going to have it as another little pocket down there. So I'm just going to glue this together like that. Okay, right. I have been very messy with my glue again. Oh my goodness. Right, let's just get my glue. Okay. Right. Okay. So we have got this little picture now. So I've got some edging here where I've kind of obviously glued it together and it's not quite lined up. So I might just ink around that rather than trim it down. You know, because I don't want it going even smaller than it is, because it's quite a small pocket already. So I'll just ink around it. And then that's just disguised where it was, you know, just off centre there. And then I can glue that down as a little pocket on here. So bringing it over, and we just, whoops, just pop that down just onto there. Okay. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need another pocket or anything, but I just think it's all adding to the interest. You know, the layers and things like that, they all add, you know, and build up to it looking incredibly, yeah, not even three-dimensional really, but, you know, just interesting to look at. Where obviously, I mean, when I pulled this in today, like I said, I just thought, oh my goodness, this looks awful. But I mean, already I'm beginning to really like it, and I can see it kind of transforming and becoming something much more, you know, interactive, much more interesting, and much more, yeah, just much more kind of something that you would want to kind of like have a look at and, you know, touch and play with and, you know, all the rest of it. So here I'm going to just cut this down because at the moment, like I said, this is a little bit too tall or too wide to fit into that pocket. So let's see if it does now. No, I'm going to have to take it down a little bit more, which is a shame. Don't want to lose the detail. So yeah, we'll just go like that, and then we'll just pop that on there with the paper clip. Okay, and that hopefully can just tuck into that pocket now. Okay, so that looks gorgeous, doesn't it? And like I said, we haven't finished this. We will probably add more things. We'll add some lace and things like that. But, you know, hopefully you can already see it's really kind of now building up. When you look at this side, obviously, with all these interactive elements, with some tiny bits of lace and decorative details, compared to obviously this side, which is just completely, you know, flat and, you know, nothing really going on here at all. You know, hopefully you can see how it's kind of going to come together and take shape. So what I will probably do, because I'm on my new filming schedule where I'm not uploading every day or anything like that, I will finish off this side doing the same things as this side, and then we will probably come back and we'll do some finishing touches and decorative elements, and maybe we will decorate the whole of the outside together, because I haven't decided yet what to do on the outside, like I say. So, you know, yeah, we'll come back and we'll do those bits together. So, yeah, I hope that you like it. Hopefully you feel maybe inspired to maybe do something similar yourself, using some of your book images with some of your old cards or your card blanks. And yeah, have fun if you do. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.